Situation in Zimbabwe is spiralling out of control. More than 500 people are dead in the latest cholera outbreak. And according to UNICEF, 60,000 more people are infected with the disease. Inflation is running at an incredible 231 million%. Armoured cars patrol the streets. Hospitals have had to close their doors. The international community is calling for President Mugabe's resignation. And right now, the Red Cross is distributing 500,000 water maker sachets. Now, that's enough to purify 10 million litres of water, but this isn't enough to halt the spread of the outbreak into neighbouring countries. Joining us now this morning, Zimbabwean expat Stanley Makui, and from the Red Cross, joining us from Wellington is Andrew McKay. Now, thanks to you both for coming in this morning. Stanley, I understand you've been speaking to family in Zimbabwe. What is the real situation there on the ground?
From what we hear from the news and from talking to the family, it looks like things are really terrible, and it looks like it's not only cholera, but there's more happening there.
Like what, for example?
If you look at the economy, as you mentioned, if you look at the hospitals closing and the schools are closing, and there's no human rights respect, people disappearing. Like there's a lady called Jessina Mkoko, she disappeared 5 days ago and she hasn't been found yet because she was keeping records of people who have been killed during the elections. So you have all those things combined together and you see there's a huge problem. There's more than just cholera.
Sure. Look, Stanley, the pictures that we see that have been coming out of Zimbabwe, particularly since the cholera outbreak over the last couple of weeks, are very harrowing viewing. How is it for you to look at your homeland and see what's happening there? Yeah,
it's quite sad because it affects us as well, because we are the ones trying our best to look after our people back home. But then, we feel really strained, to be able to make them survive, because they all look up to us, and for us to see them in that situation is so difficult, because you can't do much. You can do as much as you can, but then it might not be enough.
Is there anything that we can do from as far away as New Zealand?
It is a lot people can do from outside. They can speak in one voice against what's happening. They can also send supplies or find some kind of help they can give as well to the country. Yeah, I think it's a matter of uniting for the whole world to speak against what's happening in this stage.
Absolutely. Look, Andrew, as far as the Red Cross is concerned, you are stepping up your aid. What are the priorities now?
Certainly the priorities are managing this complex health emergency, and this has been done on a number of fronts. And at the forefront of this is the local Red Cross volunteers are working in the communities, and they're doing an education program. One of the best ways to deal with cholera is to educate people on the use of clean drinking water. We're distributing the sachets of water purification equipment, hand soap, but also we're flying in a lot of medical supplies. Just yesterday, a cholera kit, which is 6 tonnes of medical equipment specially designed to treat cholera patients, have been flown, and these have been distributed to hospitals. We're also providing local municipal workers basic engineering tools so they can start working on the sewers, so they can start clearing the sewers so the sewage which is flowing is not going to be contaminating the water supply. But it's a very serious situation. The rainy season starts in 2 to 3 weeks, so there's no clear end, but it's going to be a huge humanitarian response.
It is. Look, Andrew, some of the stories we've seen coming through, you talk about educating about the water supplies. It seems the biggest issue, education being one thing, but the water that they have, you literally can't purify it, and it's the supply that's the problem. Do you agree?
Yeah, and we're providing water containers, and there is some water distribution going on through equipment that has been brought in. But it is a huge problem. There is education, there is water to some degree, and with the purification equipment and the education, which is heavily on boiling water supplies before use. And that's really the best that can be done.
Andrew, hospitals have shut their doors. Why?
I'm not aware of that. The information we've got is additional medical supplies is being distributed to 27 health establishments in Harare and in the outlying areas, so those supplies should be getting through. There's definitely a shortage of health professionals, and health infrastructure is very weak.
Thanks, Andrew. Look, Stanley, the information we're getting, the official word, the pictures we're getting from media, are they accurate?
I think if you look at it, like the information that you're getting is like 500 people died, but then that doesn't sound accurate. I think there is more than that. You know, the number could be double or 3 times more than that.
It's an extraordinary number.
Yeah, that's quite huge. Because if you look at cholera, it's a disease that can be cured easily. But then if you end up having people, you know, over 1,000 people dying of this disease, that means there's a huge problem there.
Now, just very quickly, we're running out of time, Stanley, but the Kenyan Prime Minister is the latest to join in the voice for Mugabe to go. I mean, what can be done, realistically?
What can be done? I think, you know, the Zimbabwean situation, it's how can I say, a tragedy. And if you write a tragedy, if you got a script there, a tragedy, it all ends up as a tragedy. But the only way to go forward is to change the whole script. And changing the whole script mean as well changing the actors as well.
Yeah.